You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Journalists float astonishing theory around silence surrounding Mitch McConnell's health, based on an article by Alexander Willis. When a Senate seat becomes a timing game, power, not privacy. The reporting here is about Mitch McConnell's health, but the political story is about control. McConnell was hospitalized in mid-June for an undisclosed medical reason. His office said little and Republicans stayed mostly silent. That silence is not neutral. When an office withholds basic facts around a major power vacancy, it is managing an outcome, not merely protecting a person. The real decision makers, the people with actual leverage, are not the commentators guessing about his condition. It is McConnell's office, the Republican apparatus around him, and the party strategists who understand Kentucky election deadlines better than they respect voters. The source points to a hard procedural fact. If a vacancy appears too close to the next election, the replacement process changes. In other words, timing can decide whether a seat remains safely in the party's hands. Secrecy as electoral strategy. That is why the most plausible reading of the silence is not compassion, but seat protection. A party can delay a formal resignation long enough, it can shape who is eligible to run and when. The article's central theory is blunt. Keep the status vague until the calendar closes the door on a disruptive replacement. That is not a health update problem. It is a power tension tactic dressed up as discretion. The person becomes a placeholder. The morbid detail is that McConnell himself is being treated less like a lawmaker than a procedural object. The reporting notes that some have suggested he may be unfit to serve, and that Republicans may want to prevent Rep. Thomas Massey from making a late move on the seat. If that is the game, then McConnell's condition is not the issue being explained away. It is the mechanism being exploited. The office is reducing a constitutional question to a clock. The media trap. The weakest part of the public framing is how easily it turns institutional manipulation into a speculative sideshow about whether McConnell is dead, alive, or somewhere in between. That kind of coverage flatters the secrecy. It makes the audience chase the status of one man while the real action happens in filing deadlines, vacancy rules, and party calculation. The point is not whether the gossip is cruel. The point is that the system rewards concealment when concealment helps power. What this reveals. This is how declining institutions protect themselves, by converting transparency into a liability and treating voters as an inconvenience to be managed after the paperwork is done. The pattern is bigger than one senator. A party that will hide reality to preserve a seat has already admitted what it thinks government is for. Not representation, not accountability, just control, held as long as the calendar allows. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Ross Story for today's article. With the automated voice of Libret's R. Thanks for listening.